Watching this episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
right?
watching this episode of
Oregon Life.
Hello, I'm Frank Caruso, producer of Oregon Life, and welcome to part one of a two-part episode. Now, if you happen to catch part two, go back and watch part one. They are both entitled, We Are Beauty, and those words come from our artist, Anna Petrie. She takes us on a very personal journey of her breast cancer and the art that she has brought forward. The one thing I would say about both of these episodes and Anna, that these are just made of pure love, as Anna is. And I'm proud to bring you these two episodes, part one and two, of Oregon Life. We Are Beauty.
Hi, my name is Anna Petrie, and I am a fabric designer and functional artist, among lots of other creative endeavors. And I came upon this in 2020. In 2020, I was diagnosed with early stage breast cancer, and through my healing and continued recovery, I stumbled upon a surface pattern design class. This surface pattern design class spoke to my heart. I have always been creative in my artistic pursuits and really enjoyed things that I could use. It wasn't until I came upon this class that I really realized that I have always been a functional artist, meaning that I'm an artist that creates things for day-to-day use. I loved the idea of surface pattern design because there's design in any capacity. There are note cards, there is fabric, there are tumblers, there are puzzles, there is quilt, so many different things, wall hangings. And I didn't realize that there was I don't want to say market, but there was an avenue for this type of creative endeavor that would mean you could design surfaces of all kinds and could combine them. I fell in love with the fabric design process and really found a way, not only through my emotional healing, it was a wonderful creative emotional outlet for me. So this is part of that. And my first collection is called We Are Beauty. It was inspired rather by accident through my own healing and my own discovery of what I found through my own mastectomy and what that meant for me in terms of finding a home inside of my own body. I don't think you have to go through this type of thing to not feel at home in your body. And I think particularly as women or people who identify as women or people who identify other than the gender that they were born, I think it can be challenging to find a home inside of our bodies. Breast cancer for me was one way for me to realize how important it was to find a home inside of our physical bodies and what that can feel like. So one day I was drawing in my sketchbook and just creating marks, and I started doing the female silhouette. And then I added breasts. And then I added breasts of different kinds with scars in different areas, and some scars on two sides and some scars on one side, and some that were just lumpectomy scars, and some that were full mastectomy scars, and some that were just breasts of all different kinds, because there's not one that's the same. And so honoring that was a huge eye-opening experience for me in a way that allowed me to design this fabric that could honor any and all of us, in the hopes that we could spread, that I could spread this deep wish that we can find a home inside of these bodies, which do tremendous things for us and help us do all these day-to-day wonderful body things And there's so much time invested in thinking it different, wishing it different. But if we wished it to honor where we are and honor what it is our body does every single day for us, I think that we could do a lot of good for ourselves to feel more at home. In the creative process, there are lots of questions that I uncovered in myself and lots of time to think about what was the message I wanted to portray and what did that message look like in my art. In truth, I didn't set out to create this fabric collection. I merely set out to get what was in my brain and on or in my heart out as a means of sharing my own process of healing and in the hopes of inspiring other people to feel love toward their physical bodies. I will say that this type of art isn't for everyone. And there has been questions about, am I doing the right thing? Does this look like it will be accepted? I think there are always those questions as an artist initially. And then I think when those questions arise, as I get older, I feel like I'm getting better at going the next level of question in myself, which is that important? Is the response of other people more important to me than the message that I'm interested in sharing and putting out there? And for me, with this collection, the answer was no. This collection isn't for everyone. And there are plenty of times where I am at a vendor market and people pass by and they're not interested in engaging in conversation, or they would like to have conversation with their friends and they're there to enjoy the day. And because of a lack of engagement or because I miss opportunities to speak with people, then there's a missed opportunity to create connection. And when there is that connection, people's assumption about this fabric collection is dissipated, because you can look at it and assume that I have a breast fetish. And that's just couldn't be further from the truth, except I do have a great passion for enlightening people to love their own bodies. And so I think when people are willing to make a connection, or if people have their own experience with breast cancer, or their own experience with feeling not at home in their bodies, or their mom or their aunt or their brother or their uncle who may have experienced breast cancer, then they have that understanding, and then when they look at the art, they see the message more easily. That's not a judgment for anyone who doesn't see the message right away. I think it's a hard message to hear, because as a society, we have so ingrained ourselves to not feel good, to work so hard to fix our bodies, to work so hard to change our bodies. And I think it's also what I notice is the generational changes. There are very specific patterns that someone like my mother or my grandmother would be attracted to versus someone like me, or someone who grew up to be younger, who's a generation younger than I am. There's change. The conversation is shifting. The empowerment is changing. And in that insight, people gravitate toward different messages of their own, because we all have a different level of understanding of ourselves.
Watching this episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
Right?
watching this
Episode of Oregon Life.